أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Brothers, as you have listened, the topic of my speech today is the Tarbiyat-e-Aulad, the training of the children and the responsibilities of members of Majlis Ansarullah. It's a very pertinent subject, and I was very pleased to listen to the recitation of the Holy Quran in the beginning, which are very appropriate to be recited on this occasion. Actually, all the Muslims, all of us, we are reminded in those verses that we should always be praying to Allah Almighty to have the delight of our eyes through our children. I am sure that all of us fully realize how important is this subject, and this prayer is such a prayer which should always be remembered by all of us, and we should repeat it time and again, because this is actually one of the main purposes of our life. This subject on which I am going to speak, this is a very vast subject and also very important subject, because one can feel and realize that the children are the greatest asset and legacy for a person. Everybody who is not blessed with children, you can imagine their condition, how desperately they are praying to God Almighty. And when Allah Almighty, out of His grace, blesses a person with children, then that becomes the most important property of that person. Not the buildings, not the bank balance, not anything else. But the children are really the greatest asset that is given to a person. So in that case, it is very important to take care of that and to discharge all the responsibilities regarding their tarbiyat and proper upbringing. Tarbiyat is a word which should be very common in our conversation. I remember when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih IV, Rahimahullah Ta'ala, came to inaugurate the Bisharat Mosque in Spain. After that, there was a mushawarat, a consultation meeting, in which Hazrat Chaudhry Muhammad Zafrullah Khan Sahib and Dr. Abdul Salam Sahib and many others were present. When Huzur started, he said, "I am going to talk about tarbiyat." And then suddenly he stopped and he said, "Let me make clear what should be the meaning understood by that." So he requested that, "Chaudhry Sahib, can you give me one word or two words, perfect translation of the word tarbiyat?" Chaudhry Sahib, who was very capable, he did his best. But Huzur said, "No, not full meanings of tarbiyat in that." And then he asked Dr. Abdul Salam Sahib, "Can you try to translate this word into English?" He was also very expert. He did it. Again Huzur said, "Yes, both the explanations are correct, but not fully comprehensive." Actually, the word tarbiyat, Huzur announced on that day that from now on, this should become a regular, permanent word of Ahmadiyya vocabulary. And everywhere we should propagate it, tarbiyat, tarbiyat, and tarbiyat. So I think it very much closely relates to my subject today, that tarbiyat-e-children, the children's tarbiyat, how important is that, and what responsibility we have to discharge in this regard. As I just mentioned, the very first point to be understood is that the children are the greatest asset of a person. And one should understand it realizing one's responsibility. And that is what I want to explain today. So far as tarbiyat of children is concerned, it is not only the responsibilities of the mother. Many men, unfortunately, when we talk about the subject of tarbiyat, they say it is the duty of the mother to look after the children. Absolutely wrong. According to Islam, both the father and the mother and the father, in which sequence you may mention these words, they are both equally responsible for the training and proper upbringing of children. So therefore, the responsibility of Ansar brethren is to be understood in this context. And regarding the men and women, Allah Almighty has also mentioned the word Qawam, that the men in the circle of the family, they are the guardian of the whole family. And they have to be discharging their role as a leader of the family. So in that response, in that respect, I think the responsibility of parents, and I am addressing my Ansar brother at the time, is very, very prominent and very important. And after the people, when they come into Atfal and Khudam and then come to Ansar, that means they cross the threshold of 40 years. And after that, many of them consider themselves to be as old people. But that's not right. They are actually the Qawam, and this responsibility should be discharged until the last breath of the person. So he is the custodian, he is the guardian, he is the guide of the whole family. That is the word of Qawam, and that is mentioned in the Holy Quran. And so far as the proper training, education, and upbringing of the children is concerned, that is the best legacy that a person can leave behind. You know that when you come across a new family or a community of people, some people ask, who was your father? And when they mention a great person, then they say, oh, you come from that great family of that great person. So that means that if that person has discharged the responsibility and looked after the children properly, then the children by their good deeds would be increasing in the fame and glory of their parents. That is the need for all of us to understand, that if we discharge our responsibility properly, then a time will come, then you would be known and everyone will be known by the great achievements of their children. So this is another aspect why the Ansarullah, members of Ansar, they should realize the responsibility of this. And moreover, I mentioned earlier on the age 40. When age 40, this barrier is crossed, we are all considered that we are Ansarullah, we are across this big boundary. No doubt it is true. But Ansar should also remember that after crossing this one, even sometime earlier than that, but after that there is only one destination, and that is the destination of leaving this world. So just like the passengers who are boarding in a train, traveling from one place to another, when their station comes, they have to alight from the train, or they have to come down from the ship, from the aeroplane, or any other mode of travel. So that means that their destination has come and they have to leave. That moment is going to come in the life of all. Maybe a young boy, maybe a khadim, maybe Ansar, on the lady side of every age. This destination is bound to come in the life of all of us. So we should be ready. What sort of good deeds we are taking with us, and what sort of good, well-trained progeny we are leaving behind. These are the two things we have always to remember that. There's a good example once mentioned by my late father. Somebody asked him to give him a autograph. He was not very fond of giving the autograph, but on that day he wrote it. And he gave a very beautifully example that when the train comes to the station or a ship uh, goes to the shore and it lands there, then all the passengers, they look after their luggage, what they have brought with them. Is it everything intact? Every box is there, every bag is there, and he is not leaving anything behind. So they always take care of what they have brought, and everything should be taken with them. So that should be the feeling of all the people, because that day